All right, let's just jump right in. So you want to get that Google Generative AI cert, right? But you want the real scoop, the insider guide on how to pass it and maybe, just maybe, pass it easily? Well, you've come to the right place. We're going to break it all down for you. And look, I want to kick things off with this quote, because it says it all. It is the shortest and easiest Google Cloud certification. This isn't some brutal month-long study marathon. Nope. Experts are basically saying this is a super accessible, quick win. A really easy way to slap generative AI right there on your resume. Okay, so first things first. What even is this certification? And more importantly, who's it really for?
And this right here is the absolute key. It's a concept-based certification. That means it's not for the super technical engineer who's living in the code day in and day out. Nope, this one's built for, the decision makers, the solution architects, the sales engineers. Basically, anyone who needs to talk about Google's Gen AI tools at a high level.
And let me be crystal clear about this. You can pass this thing with zero hands-on experience. Seriously, you don't need to have built a single AI model or written one line of Python. This whole exam is about knowing what the tools are and what they do, not how to actually use them to build something.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks. The exam, by the numbers. What are the nitty-gritty details you need to know before you even think about booking it? First question everyone asks, what's it going to cost me? $99. Yep, just under $100. Pretty standard stuff for a cert, and honestly a pretty small price to pay for a quick boost to your career. Okay, how about study time? This is where it gets good. If you're coming in fresh, a total beginner, we're talking about 5 hours. Just 5. And hey, if you've already got some cloud experience under your belt, you could probably knock this out in just 2 or 3 hours. That's not a semester. That's like a Saturday afternoon.
So, what do you need to pass? Officially, it's 70%. But here's a little pro tip for you. On your practice exams, aim for an 85. Seriously, that gives you a nice, comfy 15-point cushion for any weirdly worded questions or, just a case of the exam day nerves.
Now this is probably the most important slide, your study plan. You should be spending a whopping 60% of your time just doing practice exams. And you might be asking, why so much? Well, it's not because the topics are super difficult. It's because the questions are kind of tricky. They use a lot of businessy, marketing-style language. Getting used to how they ask things is the real secret to passing this thing.
All right, now for the good stuff, the real insider guide. We're going to talk about the official study guide versus, reality. Because trust me, there's a huge gap between what they tell you to study and what's actually on the exam. Let's save you a ton of time.
Okay, case in point. The official guide says you need to know all about the core layers of the Gen AI landscape. Infrastructure, platform, all that jazz. The reality? People who've actually taken the exam say there are 0 questions on this. None. So, you can just go ahead and skip that entire section.
And it's the same deal with this topic, data quality and accessibility. The guide makes it sound super important. But again, the feedback from test takers is, nope, no questions. So this is another one you can just toss in the ignore pile and focus on what actually counts.
And this quote really just nails it. A lot of marketing nonsense, you can just guess best for that and you'll be fine. A big chunk of the guide is just fluff. It feels like marketing copy. So when you hit those vague, businessy questions, don't sweat it. Just use your best guess. You'll probably be right. No need to waste your time memorizing it.
Okay, so if we're telling you to ignore all this stuff, you're probably wondering, what should I study? Well, let's get to it. Here's your cheat sheet. These are the topics that are for sure on the exam. First on the list, DLP. That stands for Data Loss Prevention. This is all about keeping sensitive data safe. Like when you see a credit card number on a receipt and it's all stars except for the last 4 digits, that's a perfect example of masking. So if a question on the exam talks about masking or tokenizing or de-identifying data, the answer is almost certainly DLP.
Next up, you got to know about explainable AI. Think about it this way. Say an insurance company uses an AI to approve loans. They have to be able to prove that the AI isn't being biased against certain people. Explainable AI is the magic that lets you peek inside the black box and see why the model made the decision it did. It's all about fairness and transparency.
Security Command Center. This one is a definite. People specifically remember getting a question about this. All you really need to know is that it's Google Cloud's main hub, the central dashboard for handling all things security. Just remember the name and what it does. Okay, let's talk models. You do not need to be a deep expert here, but you do have to know the difference between the big ones. Super simple. Gemini is the big, all-purpose one. Gemma is the open-source one. Imagen is for images, and VO is for video. That's it. Know that, and you're golden.
Let's zoom in on Gemini versus Gemma, because this one's a big deal. Gemini is the flagship. It's closed source, fully managed by Google, and you get to it through an API. Gemma, on the other hand, is the open one. You can actually download it and run it on your own laptop. Think of it like this. Gemini is like ordering a pizza, and Gemma is like getting the dough and making it yourself at home.
Now don't let the names fool you here. Vertex AI Studio and Google AI Studio. They sound almost the same, but they're different. It's actually super simple. Vertex AI Studio, that's the big, powerful one that lives inside your main Google Cloud account. Google AI Studio, that's the free, standalone version that anyone can use for quick tests, no cloud account needed.
Okay, so we've gone through the what and the how. Now we get to the really big question. Is this certification actually for you? Let's figure out who this is really for. It breaks down pretty neatly. If you're a key stakeholder, a solution architect, or you're in sales, this is an awesome, super low-effort way to prove you know your stuff. But, and this is a big but, if you're an aspiring engineer who actually wants to build with Gen AI, this is not the cert for you. You should be looking for something way more hands-on, way more technical. So there you have it. We've cut through all the noise, all the marketing fluff, and given you the straight-up guide to passing. You know exactly what to study, what to ignore, and whether or not it's the right fit. The only question left is this easy win your next career move?